Welcome to the end, everybody. This is week 16, which I don't think I've ever had as a teacher at Pellissippi before, but week 16, the last full week of regular classes. Regular classes meaning very little, of course, to folks taking completely asynchronous online courses, but this is the end of the semester. We've made it all this way. I hope that everybody had a restful and happy Thanksgiving weekend, and whether you traveled and got to celebrate with family, or whether you had to work, or whether you just took some time off to decompress and sit around and watch TV, whatever you did, I hope it was great. Hope everyone's ready to finish off the semester. I've got just a couple of things to talk about as we wrap up. First of all, SA4 due this week. That is the main task before you for this week, is to just finish writing SA4 and get that submitted. I will sort of make one little caveat, and this is not necessarily in response to anything from this class, but as I've been dealing with this assignment in some of my other classes, the one key detail that I feel like I need to stress here is that this is a response essay. This is not just a position paper on a topic. The goal of this essay is to respond critically to an article that you've chosen. So the article that you wrote about, not for this week, but for last week, should be central to your essay. You are not necessarily making a position on a topic. You are arguing against somebody else and arguing against their position. So the key indicators for me, as far as are you doing the assignment right, is that one, you mention your central text right away, and that your thesis is taking a position that is relative to the position that the central article is taking. And that two, each of your body paragraphs addresses the central text and a point that author is making, and that the rest of the essay builds out a response to that point using research. If I look, when I look at essays, when I look at drafts, that those are typically the first things that I check for, and I do so for an initial indicator of, okay, is this essay doing the job that is set before us? A lot of times I get essays about cell phones, social media, whatever you want to write about. But instead of being, well, John Smith said that cell phones are allowed in the classroom, but in actuality, I disagree. And I think that cell phones are thing A, thing B, thing C, whatever. It's just cell phones shouldn't be allowed in the class. Like, if the purpose of your essay, as stated in the thesis, is not to provide a counterpoint to that central text, then there may need to be some adjustment in the thought process. If there's anything I can do to help you sort of just stay on track and stay focused and keep the target in your line of sight, then I'll be happy to address that. Beyond that, it's the same processes that we've rehearsed all semester long. And so I am looking forward to reading your position papers or reading your response papers and seeing what the work that we've done this semester has paid off for you. So that's the first thing, Essay 4. Due at the end of the week, due Sunday night at midnight. Let me know if you have questions. The second thing I'll bring up is that there is a final assessment. And this is not a final exam. In other words, this is not something that is coming from me. This is something that is coming from the department. And every semester, the English department assesses English 1010. And what that basically requires of you is a 1-paragraph writing assignment that will be given to you next week, and you'll have a very brief window to get that done. Ideally, the writing sessions should be timed. You're supposed to, if you were in a classroom, I would be asked to limit the amount of time that you had to write to 1 hour. And that is for the sake of assessment science, assessment viability, that everybody comes into the prompt cold and is given the same information at the same time and has the same window to complete the task. Now, obviously, when it comes to online writing assignments, I can't really enforce a time limit, so I'm counting on each of you to. I'm using the honor system here. I'm just sort of telling you that that's the limit that you need to impose for yourself and sort of trusting in you to do it. But I will tell you again, it's a 1 paragraph writing assignment. You'll be given the topic next week. I can't tell you what that topic is, again, for the sake of science, as it were. However, I can prepare you for that task. And so that is the goal of discussion post 13 this week. You'll see it's asking a question regarding a potential prompt of should Cades Cove in the Great Smoky Mountains use shuttle buses to alleviate traffic problems. Now, I know not everybody is from the East Tennessee area. You might not know what Cades Cove is. Cades Cove is basically a national park. It is located just outside of Blount County. It kind of sits on the border of Tennessee and North Carolina. And it's an insanely popular location. Cades Cove, the Great Smoky Mountains, the most visited national park in the country. It receives more visitors throughout the year than any other park in the country. And because of that, if you've ever been to Cades Cove, you know that traffic can be pretty bad. The bulk of Cades Cove consists of a single lane, 12 or so miles, one-way road that takes you around the perimeter of the cove and back out to the entrance. And driving that 12 miles can take anywhere from an hour or more, depending on traffic, depending on popularity that time of year, depending on how many bears people 20 cars ahead of you spot and therefore then stop cold in the middle of the road. It's a beautiful location. It's a really great place to go. And sometimes going there can be just a little bit of a nightmare if traffic is bad. And so the prompt that you're going to be asked to consider is, should the park institute shuttle buses? Now, if you're unfamiliar with Cades Cove, this still should be an issue that you can address. You are probably familiar with other national parks. You're probably familiar with other institutions or destinations that utilize shuttle buses. There is going to be a research component to this discussion post. I'm not necessarily imposing any credibility standards. You don't have to use the source evaluation scorecard. Google is just fine for this assignment. So the goal of discussion post 13 is to, again, engage the prompt, do a little bit of research, and then craft a 1-paragraph discussion post where you take a position on that idea. Should the park use shuttle buses to fix traffic problems? Now that is the prompt. It's not, would you like shuttle buses? Would you not like shuttle buses? Is it, would doing this fix the issue that we're trying to fix? And so you can use sources to support a affirmative on that. You can say, yes, I think shuttle buses would be a fine solution to this problem. And as you can see from this research, other places have tried this and it's worked out great. Or, no, I don't think it would be a great idea. However, other places have tried different options and maybe they'll work in Smoky Mountains and such as, and cite a source. Or you can just be like, shuttle buses won't actually fix the problem. Here's an example of a time where they tried it and it just made things worse. So no, I don't think this would be a good idea. Some bit of argument and some bit of position taking and use of research will be needed for this discussion post. But again, it is just a discussion post. Normal standards apply. I can't tell you specifically how doing discussion post 13 will prepare you for the final assessment. I can just sort of say, trust me, it will, and that will, and how will become very apparent next week when you see the prompt. You don't have to worry about this week. I'm just putting this on your radar because that will be the one thing that we do as a class next week. So be checking in, be on the lookout for that. Everything will open up when the time comes. And so the last thing that I'll put on your plate is the Student Perception of Instruction Survey. Many of you have probably already done this for your other classes. Some of you have, according to the numbers that I get in my email, some of you have already done it for this class. If so, thank you. If not, I have placed an announcement on the homepage with a QR code that if you scan it, it will open up the survey for this class right away. If you can't get the QR code to work for whatever reason, you should be able to log into My Pellissippi, where you'll be given an option to take the surveys. If you're asked to do this in another class, it doesn't take very long. While you're in the survey tool, you might as well fill it out for this one as well. It's completely anonymous. There's no real chance that I will, there's no name attached to any set of feedback. There are a handful of agree and disagree questions that are not revealing in any way. But there is also a section where you can provide written feedback regarding the course. And if you choose to leave that written feedback, please understand that unless you say something that has outed yourself or spoken about something that identifies you to me, then I'll never know who said what. And I do try to take the constructive feedback seriously. I'm always reaching this point in the semester and not entirely sure how it's gone, always knowing that I could have done things better, that overall it probably went okay for most folks, but there's always room for improvement, and I'm just looking for any bit of feedback that might help me toward that. So those are really the three things for us to take care of this week. Submit Essay 4, submit Discussion Post 13, our last discussion post of the semester. Getting ready for the assessment next week, and then the student perception of results survey, and the QR code is in the description. That's basically it. We'll have a little bit more next week. I'll put up a video with some final words and some goodbyes and good lucks. But it's been a good semester, and I've enjoyed working with you guys and reading your essays. So if there's anything I can do to help you wrap up, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll look forward to reading your final essays, and there'll be more next week. So just stick with me. But for now, enjoy your week. Good luck on Essay 4. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you out.